Hi, welcome back to At Jude Reborn Girl. I'm Jude. I'm the founder of the channel, and I also run a large facelift group on Facebook known as Facelift 101. I have a mission at this time in my life, and my mission is to educate, enlighten, inspire, and support other aesthetic warriors. Welcome back to all my subscribers. Thank you for hanging with me in the interim months that I wasn't able to video because I was moving, didn't have a video space, but now I'm all set up again, and I wanted to bring you up to date on my beautiful slender arms that I got after having a brachioplasty last June in 2025. So I'm 72 now. I'm 8 months post-op, and they say it takes about 9 to 12 months to get the full results. So we will see, but I'm really pleased with how my arms have developed and the recovery process. And I'd like to just walk you through kind of the flow, the ebb and flow of my recovery. I know that my Facebook group, which is called Facelift 101, the members of my facelift group have been really curious about how my arms turned out. I did create a part 1 video showcasing my procedure, including the doctor, and we're going to splice in some parts of part 1 into this part 2 video, because I want to bring those of you that haven't seen it up to date and let you see my doctor in action and myself in the procedure. And then I want to talk to you about my whole journey, the smooth part, the slightly difficult part, nothing was too difficult, and kind of where I am now and how I feel about it, and would I recommend it to another aesthetic warrior like myself. So stay around till the very end, because at the end, I have a little secret that I'm going to drop about something else that's coming down the road that you may be interested in. I'm sort of the bionic woman, because after I retired and we moved across country, my husband, my dogs, and myself, I was ready to pursue one of my lifelong aesthetic goals, which was to find proportionality in my body. And to do that, I had to have my breasts reduced and lifted. So I went ahead, I had a breast reduction and lift, and that went really well. I was made to be proportionate for my 5'2" frame. After I healed from that, I started thinking, it was about 6 months later, I started thinking, I wasn't fully healed, but I was healed enough. I started thinking about a facelift. I also at the time had a problem with my neck. My neck was loose, it was hanging, I had jowls, my face was fairly squared off. I just was looking every bit of my age. So at that point, I was 68, turning 69. When I got through my facelift, my neck lift, my facial surgeries, and I looked back at myself in the mirror, and I would see these fleeting images of my upper body, and I thought, gee, I look young here, and I look young here, but then I had these really big arms. I guess I worked out at one point, and I had built up big muscles, and on me, they were really big because I'm a small girl, and then they atrophied over the years, and then my arms fell. They were massive. They were big, and I knew that I wanted to fix that. I didn't want to have big, bulky bat wings, but then have my face, my neck, and my chest look great. I don't have problems with my legs. I don't have problems with really too many other things on my body. It was just really the arms I felt detracted from everything else I had done. So I decided to find a different type of surgeon, one that specializes in the body and has a big following for brachioplasty. And if you're not familiar with brachioplasty, that is the surgical removal of excess skin on the upper arm. And a lot of women have it. I think most women have it when they have a big weight loss. That wasn't my issue. My issue was the atrophy of the muscles, the big muscles, the workout muscles, and aging and genetics. Because when I look at pictures of my grandmother, her sisters, especially on one side of my family, my paternal grandmother, all of the women had really big, bulky upper arms. So I knew it was my destiny. And working out helped while I was working out. But then when I stopped working out, it compounded the problem. So I happened to be scrolling one day on Facebook, and I saw this woman put a review up about having an awake brachioplasty. She was awake and gabbing, happily with the surgeon and his staff during her arm procedure. And that got my attention because my facial and neck surgeries were all done under local. I did not have general anesthesia. Here's a video I made about my great experience having oral sedation and numbing shots for my facial surgery. I loved it. I fell asleep with Valium. He numbed the areas with numbing shots. And when I woke up 4.5 hours later, 5 procedures were done and I felt great. No fatigue, no blues, no risk of stroke or embolism or death, no nausea, just feeling great. The idea of being able to have a brachioplasty and not even having to go to sleep was really enticing. Just awesome, super enticing. I had seen that the way that this doctor, his name is Dr. Kristopher Hamwi, and it's spelled Hamwi, but it's pronounced Hamwi. The way that he does it is he actually liposuctions fatty, loose skin and makes it ultra loose. And then he comes in with the surgical part of the brachioplasty and cuts and sutures and codifies the arm. After, he cuts off all that excess, he seams you up.
So we'll numb you up. Then we will do the liposuction part. And the liposuction will help shape the arms, and it will help shrink them. But what you'll notice is that the skin's gonna get a lot looser afterwards, right? It essentially deflates the arms. So that will then reveal to us the extra skin that we need to address.
Got it.
And so then we'll do the brachioplasty part after we've done the liposuction. So 1, 2, 3 steps. And then we wrap you all up and you get to go home and just kind of relax.
So let's talk about my brachioplasty story, starting with the beginning and what I told him when we met the day of the procedure.
Describe to me like the things that you see in the mirror that you want me to appreciate.
Okay, I'm not a fan of the crinkly skin underneath. Which seems to be even worse on this side. It's very tissue paper-like, and it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, and also the bulging right here. My forearms are great. They're small and they're nice, and then it balloons out, and I think it's genetic. So that's my issue.
Okay.
So those were my thoughts when I first got there, and I was telling him how I, really was yearning for beautiful arms. By the way, Dr. Hamwi is a doll. He's the nicest man. He's personable. He's an active listener. Like, he's really engaged. You can see that when you watch this clip. I think he's fantastic. He and my facial plastic surgeon are both heroes in my mind. They're both just, like I've said online, they're mensches. They're just great human beings. But Dr. Hamwi fancies himself as an artist. So one of the reasons he keeps you awake is that he has you stand up at each stage and hold your arms up so that he can make sure he's giving you kind of an athletic form to your arm. And he assesses it 3-dimensionally, which you cannot do if the patient is just laying, like a slab on a gurney. You can't see what the arm is going to look like three-dimensionally. You can't see the form suspended in air. So I would stand up, I would put my arms up, then I would put them down. In the meantime, he would be talking to me, asking me questions. His nurse would be talking to me. We would be laughing together. It was such a pleasant process. I can't emphasize that enough.
All right, so we finished the numbing and the lipo. How was it?
Great. Like, so comfortable, no problem.
Yeah. It's a little pinchy every once in a while, but nothing in the world, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, nothing intolerable or even close.
Yeah. And what that allows us to do is sort of like check our work as we go, right? So we would sit you up and we would check and we would make sure that things were symmetric and that the shape was coming down the way we want it, correct?
Yes.
Right? And so what that's done is let me just lift your arm up. So we've sort of shrunk the arm, so now what we can get is sort of this shape like that. And we'll see some nice bicep definition, and we'll get the nice lift that we want out of it all. So
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
I love
that too. All right, well, perfect. So now we're gonna sort of change everything over and then go knock out the brachioplasty, okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks.
At the end, Dr. Hamwi uses what's called a pico dressing. And the dressing per se is the way that they tape up the incision. The pico dressing is used to manage the scarring process. The longer you can keep it on the patient, the better the chance of a beautiful flat scar.
We just finished up. How was it?
Great. I mean, it wasn't tough at all.
You breezed through it, didn't you?
Yeah. It wasn't tough.
And so now we're done. What we've got going on, we'll explain this a little bit more tomorrow when we take off the garment, but we've put on a special dressing called a pico underneath over the incision. And that's what those little tubes and boxes are that are sitting on your bra. We put on a little bit of a compression bra. And then right now, Diana is wrapping your arms in chuck pads, which are sort of absorbent pads, because you're gonna leak this, we call it serosanguinous fluid. It kind of looks like pink or red Kool-Aid. That's a normal thing. It's the liposuction fluid that the body makes afterwards, but it can make a little bit of a mess. So we're putting that on to sort of just kind of catch that until tomorrow. But you did amazing. I'm excited for you.
Oh, I'm excited. Thank you so much for constantly checking me, asking me if I had any pain or discomfort.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will say, I got a peek at my new arms.
Yeah.
And my new arms are like so skinny.
Then what happens is they put you into a compression garment. Their compression garment was beautiful to look at. It was a black satin with lace, and it probably was very costly, but it was uncomfortable. I am highly sensitive, and lace scratches me. Like, I can't wear lace bras or anything like that. It just scratches me to no end. And here I was in something ultra snug that had seams and lace, and then the satin was not very forgiving. It didn't stretch at all. They want you to wear the compression garment for 6 weeks. Well, this is the hard part. For me, these first 2 weeks were very uncomfortable, not because of the surgery, but because of the compression garment pushing against the pico dressing. Now, the pico dressing was already kind of pressing on my sutures. These little tubes taped so tightly onto the sutures, and then they would dig into my skin when I had the compression garment on. So that was extremely uncomfortable. I was really having problems dealing with it. It was just so uncomfortable. Plus it was scratching. So it was like, when I think about it, my nerves stand up on end. So what did I do? I first asked the doctor to be empathetic and allow me to have the pico dressing removed. And they agreed. It turns out many people can only bear it for 2 weeks like me. So I didn't feel that bad. I was kind of par for the course. And then I went on Amazon and I found a really, really soft, kind of a dance skin material type compression garment. Still snug, but really, soft. Now, it did have seams, just like the satin one. And when I was reading the comments, you always have to read the reviews because real women, we all kind of think alike. In the reviews, one person said, well, I really like it, but it has seams, and those seams line up with my incisions, and it's uncomfortable. So she turned the garment inside out and wore it that way. And she said she had no issues like clasping it or anything. So that's what I did. I can't take credit for her brilliance. It was so smart. But I did tell the doctor that I could not wear the compression garment 24/7 for 6 weeks. I just could not do that. And the doctor said, it's okay. Don't even wear it for a couple of weeks. I said, are you sure it's not going to like stymie my recovery or be a problem? I didn't want to have an arm that blew back up or something. And he said, no, it won't be a problem. So for 2 weeks, no compression garment. I no longer had the Pico dressing. I was probably now at about a month or almost a month post-op. I felt great. And then I started feeling guilty, and I knew I had that really soft, Dan-skin-like compression garment. So I forced myself to wear it like 4 hours on, 2 hours off, like every day. Plus I would sleep in it. And as my swelling went down, the compression garment was no longer that snug. So the compression garment was looser and it felt more comfortable. And then I wore it more. I probably didn't help me as much, but that's kind of the honest truth. So my difficult part of the recovery was nothing to do with pain or discomfort from the surgery. It was just this whole thing with that special dressing that a lot of surgeons don't even use because it's more expensive and they have to pass that on as part of the price of the procedure. And my ultra sensitive skin to begin with, and the fact that I was struggling with the compression garment. Those two things were the most difficult aspect of the whole process. When I got to about, a month and a half, 6 weeks recovery, we booked a house hunting trip where we were going to stay overnight in the part of Florida that we were looking to move to. And we were going to be running and looking at houses all day, every day for 3 days. And I asked the nurse, do I still have to wear the compression garment? I really want to wear a cute sleeveless top and start enjoying the benefits of having had the surgery. And she said, you're 6 weeks, you're good now. You are through your entire first stage of recovery, and you no longer have to wear the compression garment, and you can just start doing the taped on scar adhesives where you tape them to help the scar stay flat and form well. You can start doing those and you can wear whatever you want. I remember I went house hunting and I was in no discomfort at all. I felt great. I was proud of how I looked. I felt like I could wear a summery top on the hottest days of the summer, and it was a godsend. I've been living in tank tops. Even back then, my arms were looking really good. I was very proud. I was still working with the nurse to show her once a week or once every other week how my arms were looking. I was posing, sending pictures, turning around, taking pictures at different angles, and I could see that they were recovering really nicely. So I was confident way back 6 to 8 weeks after I had the surgery that everything was going to be great, even with my scars. But before we move forward, I'd like to show you pictures that document the evolution of my arms recovering, and you can see the swelling go down, go down, go down. They were very skinny the day that he did the procedure. Then they swelled up like crazy, just like after a facelift for like the first week or two. And then the swelling went down regularly every week. Take a look at my pictures. And remember, I am currently right now 8 months recovered, 8 months post-op. And I'll try to I'm sitting further back today so you can see my arms and you can see my shoulders and how beautiful my shoulders now look because I have a beautiful drop in the shape of the arm, just like you get when you work out a lot. And I really love wearing tank tops that are cut in, just like the one I'm wearing today. I do have a tank bra and a sports bra, but it doesn't hug my neck the way the top does. But if it did, you would see that I now have a beautiful shoulder. And it's just the shape of the shoulder and the arm is just so beautiful. So I want to show you those pictures, and then we'll wrap up with some final summation thoughts, observations, and then a little secret that I'd like to share. So take a look. So I hope you enjoyed those pictures. Now I want to tell you about something unexpected that occurred, a benefit that I got out of all my plastic surgeries. And that is I discovered a new way to sleep that is great for your body. It's physiologically very supportive to the heart and to the circulatory system. And that is I now sleep on my back. After each of my surgeries, they wanted me to sleep on my back, propped up, about 3/4 of the way propped up, sort of at an incline with some pillows. And I did that for my breast surgery. I did that for my facelift surgery. And I remember feeling really guilty after my facelift when I went back to sleeping on my side, and I was like smushing my face, for lack of a better word, into the pillow. And I'm thinking, how can this be okay for my newly constructed face? But I did it. And then I had my arm surgery. And for your arm surgery, they tell you to elevate your arms when you're sleeping. Now, I already was accustomed to propping up 2 pillows, sometimes a third, kind of on a slant behind my head. And also, I found that having a pillow under my knees was really, really comfortable. For my brachioplasty, I started putting a pillow under each arm. So I'm slightly propped up, my head and my neck. I have support underneath my legs, and then each arm is sort of floating on a pillow. It was so comfortable that I noticed I would fall asleep in one position and I would wake up in that same position. Maybe my head would be facing a different direction, but my body barely moved. And I realized I was sleeping more deeply. I was having more vivid dreams. And then I read up on it and I learned that that is the best way you can sleep, as I was saying. So I now sleep that way, and I did not go back to sleeping on my side. And for the last 8 months, since my brachioplasty, I am now a back sleeper. The first several months, my arms would ache a little bit, but not very much because I would have them floating on pillows. And then the aching subsided, and then I had no discomfort at all, probably for the last 6 months. So I think it really helped my arms to heal really well. Speaking of healing, I wanted to talk about scars. So of course, they do the incision facing the inside of your body. So most of the time, no one ever sees your incision because you have your arm down. So my incision is right here. And of course, you can see that it's basically right against my breast. But they also take the incision, at least my doctor did. They took it, it started at the elbow, it goes all the way up and it goes into my armpit and it kind of bends down into the armpit. And I was never self-conscious about the incision. I can't see it. Most people can't see it. I have to twist my arm and hold it up to even see it myself. So I don't think that should be a deterrent for you at all, unless you're young and you're like a cheerleader and you're constantly jumping and you have your the insides of your arms out. But if you're, living a normal life and you're working and you're not in athletics, no one's going to see your inner arms. I have always had great luck with the formation of scars on my body. I have never really had raised scars, very few visible scars. My body, now it's a genetic thing. Certain ethnicities develop the keloids, the raised scars, because genetically, that's how those bodies and that skin type responds to scarring. And those people have to work a little harder at managing their scarring. I did not have to work that hard. I used an excellent scar serum, which was expensive, but it was worth it. And I'm posting it right here so you can see. And that scar serum was wonderful. I used it for about a month, maybe a month and a half. But I would use it at night a lot. Sometimes I'd use it twice a day, which is really what you're supposed to do. But my scars are beautiful. At 8 months, you can barely see the scars. One side is just a little bit darker than the other side. They're both disappearing beautifully. I have zero self-consciousness about my inner arms or my scars. I actually have to point them out. When I say I had a brachioplasty, people are like, oh, do you have scars? And then I show them and then they really have to look closely. And I'm at 8 months. My doctor has told me by 1 year, they will be flesh colored and they will be invisible. So they're just a little bit visible right now. And this is 8 months. So I still have 4 more months technically for the recovery to continue. The other thing with my scars is that I take anti-inflammatory supplements daily. I took more of them in the weeks following my plastic surgery, as I always do, because anti-inflammatory supplements help your body to navigate the swelling and any discomfort you may have due to inflammation, which is the body's reaction to a wound. So if you can help your body to navigate and push through that, why not? So I'm a big believer in taking anti-inflammatory supplements post-surgery. I have made a video on my favorites and recommend that you watch it if you're thinking of having a facelift, a neck lift, brachioplasty, even an upper or lower bleph. Any wound that's created will heal more quickly and efficiently and beautifully when you use something from the inside out. I would recommend that you take supplements and you use something topical like the silicone-based gel that I'm recommending so that you're treating it from the inside as well as from the outside. Now, one of the downsides that I did want to talk about that developed, I would say, pretty quickly, maybe by 6 weeks or 7 weeks post-op, is this hypersensitivity on one side, not on both, on one side by my armpit incision and slightly down from my armpit incision. I'm ultra sensitive to the feeling of anything touching or grabbing the skin. So wearing a bra became a challenge. This is fairly common according to my research. It will go away over 1 year to maybe a year and a half of recovery. It's the nerves coming back, and there are fancy names for this, but for me, it meant having to go braless most of the time. Now, I've talked to other people that have had brachioplasties, and they tend to go braless a lot. So It's kind of a residual thing that some people deal with. Mine is definitely getting better. I had to do a lot of trial and error, but I'm wearing bra, AHH, like you say, because you're in relief because the bra is so comfortable. And I just love it. I purchased mine on HSN. These are very, very soft, ultra soft material like peach skin almost, or Dan skin material. And these have really helped me to start wearing bras again. So I just wanted you to be aware that that could be something that occurs for you. That really has been the only kind of tough residual or negative residual that I've dealt with. Again, I'm a very healthy individual. I take no medications. I only take supplements. I do believe in supplements, and I do custom targeted supplementation daily, taking what I think I need based on my blood tests and my intuition and my observation of my body. But I do walk 3 miles a day. I have the time and the focus because I'm retired, so I'm able to do that. And I do bike quite a bit with my husband. I'm just a very active person. And by the way, I do lift. I'm getting into it more and more to keep my arms solid so that they don't get flabby. I do recommend weight resistance, weightlifting for the arms so that the arms, and I had a woman write me when she learned that I had the brachioplasty after she watched part 1 of my video, and she was upset because she had the brachioplasty and then she let herself go. She wasn't exercising. I don't know if she's overweight or not, but her arms got fatty and dimply again. She told me, and she said she regretted not exercising her arms. I do walk my dog, so I get a lot of resistance exercise, but it's important to work out your arms with some weights so that you keep your arms in really, really good shape. I do love the way my arms look now and my whole, my upper body. I would definitely recommend this if you're plagued with big arms for whatever reason. No arm is too big. I've watched Dr. Hamwi do, videos of other patients. He's had patients with arms that were much bigger than what I've shown you in my pictures in this video, and he still made them look beautiful. He makes them look proportionate to you, what you would have if you were working out. I just think he's very talented. I really recommend him. It's not an overly expensive procedure, and that's because you're doing it awake. You don't have to pay for a surgery suite, an anesthesiologist, the anesthesia, the recovery room. You don't have to pay for any of that. So I highly recommend him. Florida Plastic Surgery in Lakewood Ranch, which is within Sarasota, Florida. He has a beautiful building, marble floors, beautiful examination rooms. His staff is lovely. He is a doll. He's also very tall. So in the video, you see he looks like a giant. I look like a midget. So are you ready for a secret that I'm releasing right now for the very first time? Only my close circle of friends know this. So drum roll, please. In several weeks, I'm going to have one more procedure. I mean, I am the bionic woman, right? At age 72, I will be having what Dr. Hamwi calls his liposuction silhouette procedure. So I'm going to get liposuction of the middle of the back, middle of the torso, and the waist area. Because I'm so short-waisted and I have such a short area on my torso. And I like to tuck everything in. I like to wear fitted tops, especially because of my breast reduction and my arms. But I don't want to have any bulges when I'm wearing a snug top. So I'm going back to him for one more procedure in the middle of March. And I'm going to have just like liposuction. There's no surgery involved. But it's awake liposuction to give me a new silhouette for the middle of my body. So I'm very excited for hopefully my final procedure, and then I can move on into my 70s and just enjoy looking good later in life, happy with who I am at this stage of my life, and trying to help and support other women as they move along their path and their journey and pursue elective surgery. I do coach many women, especially women in my facelift group, on the journey to having a facelift. And if you feel that you need to talk to someone, that you need some insight, or you just want someone's opinion, someone that has gone through this with many, many women, I've held their hands and walked through it with them and have coached them through after the facelift and helped them get through those first few weeks and not lose their sanity. If you want that type of support and coaching, I don't charge anything. This is a mission. I really want to help women. I'm all about it. If you need to reach out, you can DM me on Facebook. Everything, all of my handles are in the description below. And I want to thank you for watching today. If you could just hit the like button so that positive affirmation translates with YouTube into showing this video to more women so we can inspire more women. We can reduce the fear for more women. We can empower and educate more women. That's my dream. So if you can help me with that, just hitting the like button. If you liked it, if you liked the video, if you'd like to be in the loop on future videos, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And I also invite you, if you're interested in a facelift, to join the group. And you can just write me on YouTube. I respond to all comments, and ask me any questions you have, and I will respond as long as they're polite. I respond to all polite questions. Thank you again for watching. Take care of yourself. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay well, and stay joyful as an aesthetic warrior. Signing off. Cheers, love and light, Jude.